Namaste everyone. Okay, sorry for the delay, there were some technical issues. Only we're getting started. It's an honor and a privilege to introduce Guruji Jaishankar Narayananji. Actually, I'm doing this now the second time. So last evening he gave an outstanding talk at Washington University, where he introduced Vedas and Vedanta to scientists. It was a very riveting meeting with a lot of questions and very active participation, so I really enjoyed that. And today he's going to talk about bringing Bhagavan to one's life. Actually, Guruji made a statement, which I was really impressed by it and also became curious. According to many religions, typically they say you believe in God. But according to the Vedic vision of God, that statement is meaningless. Because according to the Vedic vision, you don't have to believe in God. You have to accept that everything there is, here is God. Everything there is Bhagavan. And today he's going to explain the topic, which I thought was very interesting. Because while growing up, you always hear of belief. What is belief? I think he's going to touch that topic today. Now, just to give a brief introduction, Guruji and I, we know each other because we went to IIT together, and he was my college mate. At that time, he was a rock star. So all the young people here, he was a classic rock singer and one of the best, the heavy metal and classic rock singer in those times. Maybe he can still do it. And after that, he got into Tata with Jamshedpur, and then he came to US as a software engineer. And there he met Puja Swami Dayanand Saraswati ji. And that clicked something. I think Guruji became curious and wanted to learn more about Vedas and Vedanta. And he went back to India to do a 3-year residential course under the guidance of Puja Swamiji. Now, for people who don't know Puja Swamiji, he is a Patma Bhushan, and he also was a mentor to Narendra Modi. So he's the spiritual guru of Narendra Modi. So he's a very big man. And under his guidance, Guruji learned following the Guru Sishya Parampara. And from late 90s, Guruji started teaching Sanskritam and also Vedanta, and has been involved in a lot of charitable work through Aim for Seva. And recently, he's also building a Gurukulam in South India, which is going to be touched upon today. So without much ado, I'd like to introduce Guruji.
Thank you, Srikan. Sadashivasamaramabha Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Parantha Vande Guru Paramparam. Before we actually start the talk and the topic, I thought I'd briefly introduce what we are doing currently. So this is actually the picture of our temple, the temple we currently have in the Gurukulam. And we have 3 deities here. And first we have Alabha Mahaganapati. There is a prayer for Ganapati also here. Then we have Sharadamba, who is Saraswati. We have Adi Shankara also. So this is somewhat like Sringeri. That's how the setup is. Now we also recently did Pratishtha of Narmadeshwara. This linga came from Narmada. Because one of my Guru Bhai, Swami Aishwaryananda, he lives in Indore. And then he sent us this linga from Omkareshwar. And Omkareshwar also has a connection with Adi Shankara, because that's where he is supposed to have met his Guru, Govinda Bhagavad Pada. So we did Pratishtha of this, and we are doing puja. We also have a Goshala where we have Venugopala Swami, and this is the Vigraha. So we have now this trust called Aarsha Vidya Varshini Trust, which is establishing a Gurukulam, where people, Gurukulam means not for children alone, but for everybody, even adults mainly. We want to teach our Vidya. The Aarsha Vidya means that which has come from the Rishis. That is the name. The name Aarsha Vidya was actually coined by my Guru. So whoever is associated with them, we all use that Aarsha Vidya like our brand. Okay. So Aarsha Vidya really means Rishehe Idam. Aarsha means that which is coming from the Rishis. So all the Vidya, whether it is Vedanta, Yoga, Ayurveda, so many are there, right? Our traditional knowledge disciplines. We have Ashtadasha Vidya Sthana, like that we say, 18 types of Vidya are there. All these things we want to really promote, but primarily Vedanta and Yoga. Okay? And also Sanskritam. So you have to learn because that is the source language of, or the language in which all our books, source books are there. And so we want to also build a setup where residentially we want to teach, because our parampara is a teaching tradition where the Sishya has to live with the Guru and learn. It's not just, of course nowadays we have online classes and all YouTube videos and all that can help you, but there is no substitute for going and living with your Guru and learning. So that's the setup we want to really do. Although since we are still constructing all these things, so in the meantime we are having online classes so that people can benefit. And actually we are three main teachers we are there. I myself, Shankar. Kalyan Kumar is my batchmate from college onwards. He is also the senior. We studied together, we were working together in US. Then we met Swamiji together, we went together to study with Swamiji in India also. So we have a very long association. And so we both are the main people. Vidya is my wife, and she also studied with me, and then Swamiji got us married. So we three have been teaching classes, both Vedanta, Sanskritam, chanting, English and Tamil also. Okay. And this is the place we have got 9.5 acres land it's almost near Kanyakumari. We are 90 kilometers north of Kanyakumari, very nice place. Near the hills, Western Ghats, one side of the Western Ghats. You can see the hill here also. Right? That hill itself is part of a tiger reserve actually. It's very near a forest also. It's called Kadakadu Mundandurai Tiger Reserve. In fact, in the last census, they had some 28 tigers are there, I think. That's what they said. So we now have a nice land which we have developed to a great extent now. We even have our own pond within our land. You can see this. This is the temple. It's more like a forest temple. And we also have a Goshala because we are doing everything naturally there. We have planted around 800 trees also. All our sacred trees, and then even like fruit trees, different trees, flowering trees. And so, but we have a Goshala to support our natural farming and also for the Gurukulam to have milk and all that. So right now we have around 42 cows. So this Goshala we are maintaining. Temple is there. We have 42 cows and calves. And we have only our desi cows. We want to protect our desi breed because it is becoming almost extinct now. The desi breeds don't give that much milk, but they have some special qualities. So I think we should preserve them. So that is one of the things which we are doing. We do Go Puja also regularly. And we make some vibhuti also traditionally, which is the only thing we are really making from the Goshala. Milk and all, we are just, mostly the cows only drink the milk. We take some for the temple and for our own use. So this is the setup we have right now, but we want to build a place where 50 people can stay and study. That is the goal for now. So this is just to give you an idea. Of course, we have regular online Vedanta classes. Now we have our own YouTube channel where we post all the videos, the recordings. We also have a website and a Facebook page and all that where we post regular details. Okay, this is just to give you an introduction. So we will now go into the actual topic. So the topic itself is not anything new. My Guruji used to also speak in a similar topic like bringing Ishvara into one's own life. I just changed the word Ishvara into Bhagavan because I thought Bhagavan is a more neutral Ishvara also is the same meaning actually to take it as a technical word. But Ishvara means people think that it is only Shiva. Some correlation like that is there. So I took the word Bhagavan also because I just wanted to first explain to you what Bhagavan is. Like Srikant, when he introduced, he said that the Vedic vision is something to be understood. As a Hindu, we cannot say that we believe in God. In fact, many people say that I don't believe in God also. Many people say I believe in God. Some people say I don't believe in God. Even those who say I don't believe in God first have to say what is their concept of God, correct? Unless you know what you are talking about, you cannot say whether you believe it or you don't believe it. In fact, most of the time, even those who say I don't believe in God, if you ask them and whatever they say, in fact, we can help them to not believe in that even better. I can give better logic so that they don't have to believe, because their concept of God itself is not correct to start with. So there is no point in really saying whether you believe in that or you don't believe in that. But for us it's a matter of knowing. That is why we have a Guru Shishya Parampara. Because for belief you don't require any parampara or teaching or anything. You can go to the road and also preach. Right? Preaching you can do for belief. But for teaching, nobody can teach physics in a signal, correct? Give a pamphlet or preach it. If you want to learn physics, you have to go to the university and enroll in a class. Then somebody will teach you. Similarly, our dharma, our traditions are all more nuanced, you can say. It has something which has to be taught. And therefore, unless you go and ask somebody, it is given for the asking, in fact. But it was also taught in our own families. But that has now been somewhat broken, I would say, because the parents themselves don't know much. Then how will they teach their children? So there is a need to now bring our dharma to everybody, because it is very valuable. It is our heritage. Otherwise, we are like donkeys who are carrying books, right, without knowing the value of all the literature which we have. So we have to make an effort to actually know what is there in that. So that is the idea of this talk also, so that we understand Bhagavan. And once you understand, you cannot say I believe, right? It's not even a matter of belief. It becomes a matter for knowledge. Till you understand, you can say at least you give the benefit of the doubt. That is fine. Because everybody need not understand something with clarity straight away. It takes some effort. But to put that effort, you should have Shraddha, we say. Okay? That Shraddha initially you have. Shraddha means you give the benefit of the doubt to the teacher and the Shastra, the Guru and the Shastra, till the time you yourself understand it clearly. So, the vision of our Vedas about Bhagavan is very, very important for us to understand, because that alone makes everything meaningful. Our culture, all our forms, not just religious forms, our social forms. Everything is meaningful only if we understand this vision. And the vision also is very important for another reason. That is that we always say that Hinduism is a way of life. Like this, it's a very popular thing. When you go and ask somebody, they will say it's a way of life. This way of life is very vague, correct? Because they also use it to say that anything goes. It's a way of life means what? Even a thief can say that it is my way of life, right? It's not, it doesn't really convey anything. It can be even used to say that, okay, I don't want to follow anything. I don't like any rules. I'm an anarchist. Like that. That also is a way of life. So just by saying way of life is not enough. In fact, it's a vision and a way of life based on that vision. Then only it is meaningful. But another reason also is important for us to understand. Why do we say it is a way of life? There is a reason why it is said like that. That also we have to be clear. The reason is that for us what you do is more important. Because dharma means it is doing something. Right? Dharma and karma go together also. Because what you do is based on some matrix of values, which is what we say is dharma. So dharma is not separate from karma. And karma means you have to do something, right? And what you do is either right or wrong. Either it is dharma or adharma. And it does not matter what you believe, in fact. What you believe is not a matter. It doesn't really matter. What you do alone matters because the result is for what you do. It's not for what you believe. Because some theologies, they say they put more importance on belief. And they say that whatever you do, we'll forgive you. That doesn't make sense, correct? Because you cannot escape from the results of your own karma. That is said in the Shastra very clearly, avashyam bhavitvat, they say that. That means what? Definitely you have to undergo whatever you have done. You have to undergo the results of that, whether immediately or later on. Okay? So for us, belief is not important. In fact, within our Sanatana Dharma itself, there are many people who believe many things. Somebody says Shiva is the greatest God. I want to go to Kailasha. Fine. Somebody says no, Venkateshwara, Govinda, Govinda. And Vaikuntha is where I want to go. Fine. So it doesn't matter what your belief. Some people say there is no Ishvara only, but I will do Vaidika karma. But if you do the Vaidika karma also, you will get the result. Because if you do the karma, karma will produce result. That is the order, in fact. So what you believe is not important. What you do is more important. There can be variety of beliefs. Of course, the beliefs also will change based on your knowledge, how much knowledge you gain, based on that, whether you really believe or now you know. Once you start knowing, then belief doesn't make sense to say that it's a belief, right, anymore. So like that, people also have to evolve. So that's why when we relate with Bhagavan, we are a devotee, right? That's how everybody starts. I am a devotee of Bhagavan. And like that, everybody starts, but we don't even really understand what Bhagavan is, right? Because when we grow up as children, we think that some great power is there, something beyond us. Because we all know our own limitations. We have, as an individual, I have a certain body, certain mind. These are all limited. Of course, you have certain, with respect to an ant, you are powerful. You can do anything with the ant. Even the ant, if it gets in your ear, you are gone. Okay, while it is crawling on the floor, you can do anything to the ant. But if it gets in your ear, means it's a pain. But with an elephant, what do? You have to start running. Particularly if it is a wild elephant. So we know the limitations of our power, our knowledge, whatever we have. We are all limited by time also. How long we will live, we don't know. With all these limitations, we do seek the help of a power which is limitless. Like that, we understand that. That much only maybe most people understand that. And then we can pray to that Bhagavan, we can relate. Because seeking help is very important. Human beings being limited, we can feel helpless also. Because many situations are difficult for us. whoever it is, nobody can say that I did not face a difficult situation in life. Everybody faces difficulties, and sometimes you may feel helpless also. But then, even then, seeking help when you need it, intelligent living. So intelligent living means what? You have to know when you need help. Then you have to seek that help. And where do we seek that help? Of course, we seek help from our community, our elders, our gurus and all that. But in spite of all that also, Bhagavan also is a source of help for us. And we learn to seek help from Bhagavan. So this is how we relate as a devotee with Bhagavan. Now this Bhagavan in the Bhagavad Gita also talks about this, correct? He says, Chaturvido bhajante mam. 4 types of devotees are there. 4 types people worship in 4 ways. How? It is Artho, Jignasur Arthati, Yani Cha Parakarshana. So he says Artha. One type of bhakta is called Artha bhakta. Artha means what? Somebody who is in difficulty, who is afflicted by some problem. So that means this person thinks about Bhagavan only when some difficulty is there in life. Otherwise everything is fine, I am enjoying, why should I even think about Bhagavan? So that is called Artha Bhakta. So typically the example given is Draupadi. So Draupadi had a difficulty, she was being disrobed in the court, then she called Krishna and then she got help also. So like that Artha Bhakta is very natural. But like I said, whenever we feel helpless, we are in difficulty, definitely we also seek help from Bhagavan. But then there is one person who is better than that. Artharthi. So Artharthi means you want to make Bhagavan as your partner. Because not only in difficulty, whenever you start any endeavor, we all know again, every businessman knows risk, correct? There is no business without any risk. Then Bhagavan is your partner means it's a risk mitigation strategy. Okay? Because we have, whatever we do, the result may not be as per our expectation. So we want to keep Bhagavan also as a partner. So we start everything with a prayer to Bhagavan. No, that is there in our culture, right? Because we think about this. I didn't really appreciate this very much. But first time I came to US, I lived here for 2 years. Then only I went back to India. So I went back to India, I landed in Mumbai and then in Chennai early morning, 4 o'clock or something. Then you come out of the airport, you go on a street and 5:30 or 5 o'clock, all these tea shops are open, right? But then you see that some Venkateswara Suprabhatam is playing. This happens only in India, right? You don't see any McDonald's or some shop is playing anything like this. Not even that. You get out of the airport and enter the taxi. What do we see? We see an altar in the taxi itself. There is Ganesha. Some photo and some. In fact, early morning means they even keep fresh flowers and some kumkumam and all that. So you see an altar everywhere in India. It is there on a taxi. Then you go to some shop to have chai in the morning. There. Some Suprabhatam is playing, and even if they open the shop, they do some aarti and all that, and then only they start. The first tea before they make, they even do aarti to the boiler and all that. Because that is the vision. We'll come to that later. How can anybody even understand somebody doing an aarti to a boiler or some, whatever it is, his place of work, and all his tools are there. But even that, they start the day with some prayer. That is the attitude we have. So these things and all I suddenly appreciated because I have been, it's not that I missed it or anything, but I never noticed any of these things in US. But once I landed, this was just staring at me like this. This is so, we are such a religious people. It's a religious culture. Even other things you see. In India, if they start a movie, what do they do first? What is it called? They say it is Muhurat or Puja, right? In Tamil Nadu, whenever they start a Tamil movie, they say that Puja Kotacha, means they start it with a Puja. In Hollywood, it's not like that, right? I don't know whether they do a puja or go to the church and start the movie. Even better than this, I used to work in Tata Steel, correct? So there is a blast furnace which runs for 6 years, correct? So many years it runs. Then they will decommission the blast furnace. They have to stop it because the refractory lining can only last for so many years. So they have to rebuild the entire blast furnace. They'll put new refractory bricks, and then only they have to again start blasting. It will fire. Then it again run for so many years. Now that firing the blast furnace is a big event in the factory, in the works. But even there, they call on pujari, he'll do a puja, he'll break the coconut and start the blast furnace. This never happens anywhere else, right? And then we have an Ayuda Puja. Even in our IT industry, they put Ayuda Puja, means they make the laptop into an altar. Now we are able to do all these things. Why? For somebody else, this may all look crazy, correct? These guys can worship anything. They are worshipping trees, rivers. Somebody said they worship even a mindstone, because the mindstone looks like linga. You can put one tripundram there, put a mala, and that becomes an altar for us. No, this is what is there already. Whether we understand it or not, people relate with Ishvara like this. And they relate with Ishvara as an Artha Bhakta or as an Arthati. These two are there. But only some people start thinking about, okay, I am doing all this worship and all that, but who is this Bhagavan? What is the nature of this Bhagavan? I would now like to know to whom I am really praying, what is the nature of this Ishvara or God? How does our Veda talk about this Ishvara? Because we do have some idea, because we all grow up with stories from the Puranas, right? One of the biggest influence on all of us, I think, maybe even kids who grow up here, even she might know, I think. You know the story of Prahlada, correct? Prahlada story, you know. So what did Prahlada say when Hiranyakashipu asked, where is your Narayana? He asked, right? Prahlada is all the same saying Om Namo Narayana. But Hiranyakashipu, his father says, no, Narayana is not God. I am the God. Now you say Hiranyakashipu only you have to worship, he said. But Prahlada says, no, Narayana is my Lord. Then he asks, where is your Narayana? What does he say? What did he say? So he says, in Tamil he says, Tunilum irupar, Turumbilum irupar. Right? Or in other language, in English, he says he is there in a pillar or even in a dust. Speck of dust also, Narayana is there. He is there everywhere. That is the idea. Right? Now, this idea also is there in general people. You go to India, you go to even some remote. I have traveled all over India to remote places because we were doing all this seva work, particularly for Vanavasis. Or even people who are living in remote villages. So you can say that they are illiterate, but they are educated or cultured people. You go and ask them, where is God? Where is Bhagavan? So even a villager says, everywhere. That is something again they have picked up. That vision is there. But it may not be assimilated properly. But still, they also have an idea. They don't say God means God is up. In fact, the up concept is very weird, right? Because what is up in US is down in India, I think. Correct? It doesn't make any sense. What is this up and down and all that? It cannot be one direction, correct? Up is not the same place everywhere. Up is a very relative term. So Bhagavan cannot be up. Bhagavan means Bhagavan is everything, everywhere. That is our understanding also, somewhat it is there. But maybe they don't think about all these things and the implications of all these things. So that's what I want you to appreciate. Because how do we bring Bhagavan into our life unless you know who is this Bhagavan or what is the nature of this Bhagavan? Only by knowing the nature of Bhagavan, we can bring that Bhagavan also into our life. Because unless you know somebody, you will not invite them into your home. Right? Of course, we do have the concept of Atithi and all that. But Atithi also can stay only 2-3 days. If you want to relate with somebody for your entire life, you will want to know who is that person properly, what is that person's nature. So it is true with Bhagavan also. We have to know the nature of Bhagavan. Now the one who wants to do that is called a Jijnasu. That's what Bhagavan in the Gita says. Jijnasu is a Bhakta. But he is even a better Bhakta than Artha or Artha. Because Artha is only remembering Bhagavan when in difficulty. Artha is okay. He wants to keep Bhagavan as his partner in all his escapades. Okay. But Jijnasu means now he thinks, no, I want to know who this Bhagavan is. Because Jijnasu means one who has the desire to know. Jnatum Icha is called Jijnasa. And Jijnasu means the one who has the desire to know. Know what? Know who this Bhagavan is. So, such a person also is a Bhakta. Really. Then, how do I know that the Bhagavan is not available to me? With my sense organs, I am not able to see. With inference also, you cannot establish. Because one of the things, even in India also, they say that world is a creation. Correct? If creation is there, there has to be a creator. This is one argument. They say that logically now I approve. Creation is there, therefore there has to be a creator. Now this is said by even one Darshana, Nyaya Darshana is there. They say that we can logically establish Ishvara. But then it's not accepted. Because logically you cannot prove the world is a creation. Many people say world is like this only, nobody created this. It is always like this. So if you say that from beginningless time it is always like this, you don't need any creator, correct? It is like this only. And many philosophies say, even Jainas say like that. And even Purva Mimamsaka, who is a Vaidika, says that world is always like this. We don't need any Ishvara. So you cannot prove. And nowadays they talk about all this intelligent design, all that. There is an argument, right? In fact, there is a big debate in US about evolution and creationism and all that. And they talk about since everything is intelligently put together, there has to be, because anything which is intelligently put together, we tend to think that there has to be some maker. See, suppose I say, this is a Swiss watch, right? I can say, it's not really a Swiss watch, but then I say I went to Switzerland and the watch was coming out of a spring. Natural spring was there in Alps, and I plucked this watch, and this is that watch. Now what do you think? Something has happened to this Buddhi. Maybe we have to take him to some hospital here. Why? Because a watch, you think cannot come naturally from a spring. Why? Further if I ask. Because you will say it is intelligently put together. It is made up of different parts. The parts alone do not make watch, right? If I give you all the parts, if you just lump it together, also it is not a watch. You have to put it together as per a particular design. And then only you get a watch. So whenever we say watch, then we say there has to be a watchmaker. And watchmaker does not come along with the watch. Watch has its own material of which it is made. Watchmaker is separate. That's what we say. Now this kind of argument also many people say because the whole creation is intelligent, right? Everything is intelligent in the creation. My own body if you take, all the parts are there in the right places. Imagine if the nose is there here. So for some reasons it may be advantageous, but most of your food will not taste good because 50% of taste is really smell. That's why they say if you travel by plane, always the food is awful. It doesn't taste good. That is because in that altitude, your smell does not work properly. Because 50% of taste is really smell. But because the mouth and nose are nearby, we are able to enjoy food better. Or what if the eyes are there somewhere else, near the feet? I don't know how it will be. But our own body is intelligently put together. Nobody can deny that. Because there are even mutual dependencies are there, correct? Because heart pumps all the blood. But heart itself requires blood to be pumping for it to function. Then which started first? Means of course the mother's heart must have pumped the blood first into your heart so that your heart starts beating and all that. But there is still but the first human being, how did the heart start beating means what will you do? There is a problem, right? When mutual dependence like this is there, how are you going to explain? People put all these questions also. But even then there are people who say that one person wrote a book called Blind Watchmaker. He said, no, everything is possible. If you give a long enough time, there is a probability that this can come out by evolution also. But that probability, I don't know whether anybody has actually calculated it. But it may be very low probability, high probability, but scientists are holding on to that, saying that it is still probable. Because they are more afraid of all this creationist people, I think. It's more a political argument than anything. But anyway, what I am trying to get at is, you cannot logically clinch that this is a creation. Whatever argument you give, people can give some other counter argument, you cannot ascertain. So then, what do we do? So this is where we have to go by what the Veda says. Veda is the one which is revealing that there is a creator. Veda is very clear about that. But even all theologies are saying there is a creator. Because every theology in the world claims that there is a creator. But the problem is who is this creator? Whether this creator is located somewhere means no. They say yes, God in heaven created the world. Okay. Then where is this heaven? Heaven also is there somewhere in space. But if God in heaven created the world, who created heaven? Where was God before heaven was created? Was he in hell? If he created hell for himself, can he even be a God? All these questions are coming, correct? Or where did God get the material to create this world? People are intelligent, children are more intelligent. In fact, they will ask you, say God created this world. Where did the material come from? I created chapati. Even if I don't have the material, I can go to my neighbor and borrow. I can borrow wheat flour and make chapati. But God, poor God, only one God, nobody else is there, cannot go anywhere and borrow also for the material. So they say, no, God created the world out of nothing. But from nothing you cannot get anything. That's illogical. If you say I can create nothing, something out of nothing, I will give you nothing, you give me something. I am very happy to take. Okay? So from nothing you cannot get anything. But here only the vision of the Veda is very important. So vision of the Veda is, even if you use the word God, which I normally don't use, that's why I use the word Bhagavan. Bhagavan created this world, assuming the world is a creation means, then what is the material? The material means Bhagavan created the world out of nothing else, he said. You put one else there. Then it makes sense. Nothing else means what? Bhagavan also is the maker, Bhagavan also is the material. So Bhagavan does not need to go and borrow. Bhagavan himself is the material also. Now what is the implication of this? Okay. So the Veda is very clear. Yato vacho nivartante yatah pravruttani bhutani, like that. Yena sarvam idam tatam. Even Bhagavad Gita also is there. So aham adishta madhyancha bhutanam anta evacha, like this also in the Gita Bhagavan says. I am the beginning, I am the one who is sustaining, into me everything resolves. So, from which everything has come, by which everything is sustained, into which everything goes back. That's how the Veda is presenting. Now that which is the cause of everything is both the maker and the material for us. The implication of this is the material cause pervades the effect, correct? If you say clay pot, clay pervades the entire pot, right? Wherever you touch the pot, you are actually touching the clay. If you say golden chain, wherever you touch the chain, you are actually touching the gold. If you weigh the chain, you are actually, the weight of the gold alone is the weight of the chain. So gold pervades the entire gold universe. Like that, if Bhagavan is also the material, all this is also Bhagavan. That's what Vishnu means. Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. The one who pervades in and through everything is Vishnu. That's why we can say Bhagavan is everywhere. Bhagavan is everywhere because Bhagavan is the not only the maker, Bhagavan is also material for us. And the Upanishad says, Yatornanabis vijate grinnatecha. The spider, it gives the spider as an example. Because spider creates the yarn out of which it makes the web from its own body. Right? It is the material also, and it is the maker also. It makes the yarn, but the material also, it doesn't go anywhere. It is from itself. And in a danger, it can even roll it back into its own mouth. If you go and poke at the spider which is hanging, holding on to the yarn, it will just go up by just rolling it up. So it can take it back into itself. Now this analogy is given just to show that Bhagavan also is the material. That is why so how does this get reflected in all our devatas? Any of our devata, whether it is Vishnu or Shiva or Ganapati, they are always presented as both the maker and the material. That's what we have to understand. Vishnu always said, Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. Correct? But we say that you all chant Vishnu Sahasranama, correct? What is the Dhyana Shloka in that? Bhuf Pado, like that it starts, correct? The Pada of Vishnu is this whole earth. Then the sky, the in-between Antariksha is his body. Then his head is in the heavens and all that we say. That means basically, or even if you take the Vamana Avatara, he just measured all the three lokas. The entire universe, he is pervading. He is there everywhere. Or you take Shiva, we have Panchabhuta Sthala in India, correct? 5, because the whole creation is presented in a 5 elemental model. That Akasha came first, from that Vayu came, from that Agni, the fire, from that water, from that earth. So you have the space, wind, fire, water and earth model, Panchabhuta. Then we worship Shiva as all these Panchabhutas. Starting from Kanchipuram means we have, it's called Prithvi Lingam. Then you go to Tirchi, Jambukeshwara. There, Jambulinga means he is actually water. Then fire is Tiruvannamalai, we have. Then wind is Kalahasti. So in Kalahasti, interesting thing is, how do they represent the wind in a Garbhagraha? Okay. They do that by keeping a flame. And there is no real way of wind to get into the Garbhagraha, but still that flame will be flickering always. So that shows that Bhagavan is there as wind. So Kalahasti is the Kshetra for that. And then Chidambaram is Akasha. So Bhagavan only you look upon as all these 5 elements, means everything else is 5 elementals only, correct? The whole world is nothing but, even in our own body we have, space has to be there, otherwise you can't even eat. Gases have to be there. And in fact 75 or 80% of our body is nothing but water. Then fire. Fire means temperature has to be there. Digestive fire also we say, correct? Unless acid is there in your stomach, you cannot digest anything. And solid parts are also there. All carbon. So, even our own body, all these 5 elements. But these 5 elements are Bhagavan. It's not separate, correct? So, in this vision, the implication is Bhagavan is everywhere. People normally do like this, but leave themselves also. That is also a problem. You cannot leave Bhagavan out from all this. Bhagavan is also my own body, mind, sense complex also is part of Bhagavan. Everything includes you. If you do not include yourself in everything, you will have only fear. Because everything else is so big. I am so tiny. World is so big. Then always you are in a fighting mode or you are afraid. So this has to be appreciated. This vision only makes sense of all our religious forms, because now we can worship Bhagavan in any form. Because Bhagavan, all forms are Bhagavan's form only because Bhagavan, the whole world is a manifestation of Bhagavan. When we say creation, there is nothing created newly. Understand that? In fact, our cause effect, also how we understand this, all effects are potentially always there in the cause. That is our understanding. And what we call as creation is nothing but the unmanifest effect is becoming manifest, or undifferentiated becomes differentiated and visible, or it is available for perception. And what we say destruction is no destruction really, because it again goes back into unmanifest, or it becomes undifferentiated. It is potentially there always. So that's why we have a cycle. Everything is a cycle for us. Creation also is a cycle. Time itself is cyclical. It's not that we only live once. It's not like that. We say that even life, why should life be destroyed? You say, in science we study law of conservation of mass, law of conservation of energy and all. But life and mind and all these things are also there, correct? Prana is there. Without that there is no life in the body. Then why should the prana alone vanish? It also has to be conserved, correct? That's what we say, that our belief is that it's not one life also. This body may go, but I will take another body. That is our belief. This has to be believed, okay? Because if somebody says, no, I took another body, no, again I have come back here, means you don't know whether that day is real or ghost or what. So this again, the Veda only says that there is a individual self which is free from the physical body, but the mind and all goes and takes another Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, after the death of the physical body also, it takes up another body. Like even we have a shirt, you wear it, once it is worn, we throw that shirt and wear a new shirt. This is the analogy given in Gita also. Bhagavan says this. So even as an individual, we should have this buddhi that it is not only this life, or it is not that only this body and all. We should have this understanding that whatever we do, it is not only in this life, it can also have beneficial or not beneficial results in other lives. That is again our understanding. So this vision that everything is Bhagavan is the most important vision, and this is something we have to understand. So when we say everything is Bhagavan, even that we have to understand in more detail. Because this whole world, if you take, scientists are studying the world. Now, how they are able to even study? Because for something to be studied, some certain stable system is required, right? If there is no stability of the laws, I cannot even study and understand the law. So we say gravitation law is there. and you say 9.8 meters square per second and all that, this is the force of gravity. But today it is 9.8, tomorrow it becomes 10. Day after tomorrow it becomes 11, again it becomes 8. You can't even design any machine, correct? If the laws themselves are changing all the time, there will be only chaos. Now, what is keeping all these laws in place? Because all these laws only is keeping this entire creation as we know it. That's what we call dharma. Dharma means that which supports or holds all these things together. Driyate. That dharma in a wider meaning is that which supports everything. And Bhagavan only is manifest as this dharma. Because we say that one who sustains, Vishnu is the one who sustains. Means, how does Bhagavan sustain this world? Only through all these laws. You understand? Because the laws are the same. Even physicists make an assumption of the universality of the laws. That itself is a very basic assumption. How can you say the laws which are applying in Earth will apply in Moon also? That is only an assumption, correct? But based on that assumption, they were able to send a vehicle to the Moon. Thereby they have proved that the same mechanics which are applicable on Earth is also applicable on the Moon. But till then, even then we don't know whether it is applicable outside the solar system and all that. But that is an assumption which the physicists are making. They say that laws are universal. But even that we cannot say for sure. How do you know the same law will be applicable in some Andromeda? There is another galaxy. But that's an assumption they are making, I would say. But it is okay. That is what we call that dharma. Because Bhagavan only is keeping all these laws in such a way that the creation is possible, it is available to us. Is that clear? And for us, the laws are not separate from Bhagavan. Bhagavan is manifest as all these laws. That means the entire physical order which we see is not separate from Bhagavan. So even if you study physics, you are actually trying to understand only Bhagavan in the form of physical order. If you study biology, means there is a biological order. If you study chemistry, means chemical laws are there. That is all, it's a chemical order is there. You become a doctor, means you are studying physiology. There is a physiological order, right? That's why you can do research on rat and give the same medicine to human being. Because the physiology is same. So there is an order there. And there is also a psychological order. Because if a person has grown up like this, then his mentality, his behavior will be like this. There is an order there also. Psychology may not be very evolved in certain cases, but still there is a certain psychological order is there. People can easily predict, given a certain childhood and surroundings and all that, how a person will behave. They can make psychological profiles, right? They do make, based on that they have solved crimes and all that. So, all these orders are Bhagavan. Bhagavan is manifest as all these things. But one more order also is there. That also we call as dharma. What is that order? The moral order. Moral order is specifically called as dharma. Why this moral order is important? See, animals do not have any problem. If it feels like kicking you, the cow will kick you, or the donkey will kick you, correct? And it doesn't have any guilt also. Because donkey goes by its instinct. Nothing is right or wrong for the donkey. If it feels like kicking, it will kick, and it's not having any guilt also. But human being is not only going by instinct. Understand that? We don't live our life entirely only by instinct. We also have a sense of what is right and wrong. Okay? All of us have that. Now, how did we get this sense of right and wrong? Means that's how we are born, and we also pick it up. How did we pick it up? Because everybody knows how the other person should behave towards oneself. Correct? See, even a thief, he comes to your home. Tell me, where have you kept your money? Be truthful. So even the thief wants you to be truthful, correct? Whether he is truthful or not, He wants you to be truthful so that he can take your money away. That means everybody, 50% they are all right or dharmic. Why? Because they know how others should behave towards oneself. You have to be always truthful, you have to be always praising me, you have to be loving, caring. Everything, our expectation from others, no problem. 100% I am clear. Then you also know others also expect the same, correct? Then you also have to then be like that. That also you know. That means at a very general level, this is what we call golden rule and all that. In fact, nobody even needs to teach you these things. Based on this only we can arrive at certain common values. That is what is called Samanya Dharma. Samanya Dharma means common sense values, universal values, where we know what everybody is expecting. I also expect the same thing, so my behavior also should be in keeping with that. So we have a matrix of commonly sensed values with which we are working. That's how we are able to survive in this world with these values. But still, there are also some Vishesha Dharmas are also there. Right? Specifically, context specific. Somebody says, okay, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. Ahimsa is the greatest Dharma. I won't do any violence. Then he becomes a soldier. No, soldier cannot say that Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. You have to protect your country, you have to protect the weak against those who are doing adharma. Or you become a surgeon and say, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, I won't cut open any patient. You cannot say that. So, depending on our role, the situation, also dharma is there. That's all Vishesha Dharma. Both Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma together we should have certain understanding. In fact, we all have also. That is part of our growing up, correct? While growing up only we absorb all these values. So we know what is right and wrong. But still you do wrong things. Right? But nobody can say that I have not done anything wrong. Why? Why did we do? Because of our own likes and dislikes. Right? There is something called likes and dislikes. There is something called right and wrong. When these two are aligned, there is no problem. What you like is whatever is right means. You are spontaneously dharmic, you are even happy. But what you like is different from what is right. Means there is a problem, there is conflict. And many times what you like wins over because it is pressurizing you to do things. Your own likes and dislikes are pressurizing you, means you don't have any freedom really. And if you still do the wrong thing, you do it only knowingly. Right? That is why ignorance is not a defense. In court of law, you cannot go and say, I did not know the law, please judge you, leave me. That's not a valid defense. You are supposed to know. In this case, in fact, we all know. Knowingly you do something wrong, you have guilt, you have fear. All these things also you have. But you have also maybe gained something which you have more value for than your own values. Correct? So that's why my guru used to say that you have to have a value of values. You should value your values more than anything else. But how will you value your values? Only when the value of value is valuable to you. Like this he used to say. Only when the value of values are valuable to you, you will then follow those values. Otherwise you think something else is valuable. Money is more valuable. Or some other gratification. Nowadays everybody wants instant something, correct? Then you are ready to do anything. So this is where the understanding that even this dharma or what is right and wrong is a manifestation of Bhagavan. Understand that? That order also is manifestation of Bhagavan. And whenever you are doing the right thing, you are actually in harmony with that order, that Bhagavan. But whenever you are doing something wrong, your own likes and dislikes are more important for you, means you are actually going away from Bhagavan, only your individual ego is there. In likes and dislikes, only the individual is there. But when you go along with Dharma, only Bhagavan is there because you are in tune with the order which is manifest, correct? As whatever order, moral order is manifest, which is not separate from Bhagavan, you are going along with that. So then how do we bring Bhagavan into our lives means you go along with this Dharma. Whatever is right, you do. Whatever is wrong, you avoid. In spite of your likes and dislikes. Can you do that or not? It's not easy. It's not something that I am not telling you that, but you have to think about this, correct? Because many times we think that something is very valuable and all that. But the most happy times in your life is not where you gain some money or something. It may be even where you put in a lot of effort, you help somebody, you may not get any monetary benefit, or you may even have lost your time and effort and all that, but you have felt very good about it. Correct? So, if you think about all that, then you get a certain objectivity, because you have to be objective towards your own likes and dislikes. Otherwise, they become your master. You don't have any freedom, right? Because the modern world, there is always a problem. They think that success means doing whatever you like is success or freedom, correct? Doing whatever you like, you are able to do whatever you want, you like, means you are successful or you are free. But that's not real freedom. You are only, if you keep on doing that, you will be stepping on somebody else's toe, correct? And they will give you back something. Then you will come back to senses. Or you will be fighting with them then. Because you are still driven by your own likes and dislikes. No, that's not real freedom. Freedom means you have to be free enough to do the right thing. Right? That is freedom. You can do the right thing. You are free enough to do the right thing. You are free from your own likes and dislikes. You are the master. Such a person is really free. Whatever may be my likes and dislikes, but I want to know align with the order which is Bhagavan. I want to let Bhagavan into my life more than my own individual likes and dislikes. This is how we let Bhagavan into our life. So with this is with reference to oneself, right? But what about with reference to others also? When we say there is an order, most of the human problem, one part of the problem is ourselves. What we think about ourselves, how we behave. So many things are there within ourselves. While we grew up, we have picked up many things. It is even like pain and hurt and all that also is sitting there in our subconscious. That is one part. That also you have to work with. But what about others? Human life is basically relating with people. And other people also behave in certain way which you don't like that. Or you have to deal with them. How do we deal with people? Even while dealing with people, you have to understand that there is an order. See, otherwise you are only reacting. Right? Somebody does something, you react immediately. The reaction may be, always it may not be correct also. Right? Because reaction means not much thought has gone into it. You are just instinctively reacting. Anything can happen. It most probably does not end up well. Correct? Then you have whatever conflicts with your own close relatives, employees, whatever. Your world is not few people only. Correct? Our entire life, we may be dealing with 100 people, but even in that we have so much of conflict and all that. Why? Because we are not able to deal with them. But the most important thing to understand is even the other person is part of the same order. There is a psychological order, means we don't know the background of that person. And everybody is also behaving because of a certain way in which they are born and they have a certain background. If you are able to see that their background is making them behave like that, then you don't have to have any hard feelings. We call that don't have any hard feelings. Personally, you don't have to feel that or hate somebody or dislike somebody. You can try to understand, okay, maybe he had a difficult childhood or whatever. There may be many reasons for somebody behaving in a certain manner. But if you are able to think about that one step more, my Guruji used to say, 2 steps. One step is whatever, straight away you see their behavior and the way they talk or something is triggering in you. But you can go, if you go along with it, it's going to be a fight, correct? But if you can hold on there, you be objective and see, okay, this person is doing this maybe because of some background is there, correct? Everybody has their own background. If you can think about that, then you don't have to react in anger or in some kind of a ninja, right? You can still deal with that person, but you can say, okay, hey, you are now getting angry, we'll meet later. Go and think about this. So you can still deal. You can deal with people, but you are dealing not out of your own reaction, but more of a understanding. You have to deal with people by trying to understand them. And there is a certain order even in their own behavior towards you also. The same Bhagavan's order is manifest. Okay? So this is something very important for us to understand. This is how we bring Bhagavan into our life, means we try to see the order which is there everywhere. Not only in our own behavior, in everybody else's behavior also, we are seeing this order. So the dharma itself is Bhagavan, means if you do some adharma, then that's where karma. We also say that the result of that you have to bear always. It may come immediately, it may come later, but that you cannot escape that. So this way we bring Bhagavan into our life, and you try to understand Bhagavan as all that is there here, is present here, including your own body, mind, sense complex. This is the vision. And this vision only makes sense because all our forms, religious forms, make sense because we can invoke Bhagavan in any form, like I told you. Because some people, they say, I am spiritual. God is formless. If God is formless, what about all the forms? Forms only, entire life is only dealing with forms, right? Names and form. Name also is really a form. Even the guy who says formless, he has some name for his God. What about that name? Name, or he says, I will face only one direction to pray. Direction also is a form. Name also is a symbol only, right? It's a script is there or a sound is there. Everything is a form. You cannot get away from form. Without forms, we cannot have any altar. So forms are everything for us. Our ancestors have given us so many forms of different devatas, and we even have our own Kula Devata, like that, correct? We don't have to give up anything because we appreciate each and every form. Whichever form is Bhagavan for you, that is Bhagavan only. We can invoke. Like I am pervading my entire body, right? If you want to get my attention, you don't have to give an entire body massage. You touch my little finger, I will give my attention to you. Or you touch my shoulder from behind, I'm going to turn back and say hi. So to draw my attention, you can invoke me anywhere in my body. Similarly, if the entire universe is Bhagavan's body only, right? Bhagavan pervades everything. Then you only decide how you want to invoke. That's why we can invoke Ganapati in a turmeric lump. Right? We do that all the time. You do Ganapati puja at home. How do we do? You simply make a lump of turmeric and say, Asmin Bimbe Ganapatim Avahayami. Avahayami means what in Sanskritam? I invite. Please come. You stay here. Till the time I do puja, you stay here. After doing puja, what do we say? Yatasthanam. Wherever you came, you can, now you go back. Till the time I do puja, I invite you, you be here, you accept my puja, you bless me. Afterwards, you can go. So from this what you understand, even though our vision is that everything is Bhagavan, For the purpose of puja, I can invoke the same Bhagavan in any form. We are not stuck on some form or anything. But without forms, there cannot be any worship. Understand that? There cannot be any altar. Forms are very vital. And all our religious forms, cultural forms, you say Namaste. Namaste is our greeting. In fact, it became very popular during Corona, during the pandemic. Everybody is using Namaste. But Namaste has so many meanings. Namaste can be a social greeting. That way socially it is meaningful. In fact, it's the best social greeting because I keep my germs with myself. You can keep your germs with yourself. You don't have to touch each other and pass the virus between us. So socially it is good. It's a nice form of greeting. But religiously also Namaha Te we say. Right? Namaha Te means my salutations, my namaskara to you. No, how can you do namaskara to the other person means? Because our vision is like that. Our vision is that even though only we bring these two hands together to do namaste. Right? Why do we bring the hands together? Because this hand is a separate hand, this is a separate hand. But we bring them together and do like this. It's still one, right? Because it belongs to the same person. That way, both the hands are one. So we bring the hands together. Like that, you may be different, I may be different. But Bhagavan is there in all of us, right? So the Namaste is not for the individual alone. It is for the Bhagavan also who is manifest in each and every one of us. So that is how we look at it. So it is meaningful like that also. So religiously it is meaningful. And also from Vedanta also what we say, everything is Bhagavan. And I see that in you. So we have all these forms which are very meaningful. And if we understand the meaning behind all these forms, then we can follow them also with certain commitment. Otherwise you cannot tell your children also to follow anything, right? They won't listen to you. If your child has to follow something, first you should have some knowledge about it, and then you should explain the background knowledge, behind all our forms. Then they will also follow. They can then understand and follow them. So this particular vision alone makes our entire religious culture, because our culture is a religious culture, as I told you, right? Because we start everything with a puja, with an attitude of worship. That is already there. But how can we even be like that? Means because we can invoke Bhagavan in any form. And we have very rich culture and all the forms that we have. That is really making all these things meaningful. And we should not lose this. We should appreciate this and continue. The other thing which I wanted to tell was about the word Bhagavan itself. So many people do not even know the meaning of Bhagavan. Because Bhagavan is like other Indian words. Right? In all Indian languages we have words like Balavan, Dhanavan and all that. Correct? So Balavan means who? One who has Balam. Correct? Dhanavan means one who has wealth is Dhanavan. So similarly, the word Bhagavan is used, but without knowing the meaning. But Bhagavan literally means one who has Bhaga. Okay? So the word Bhaga can be generally translated as wealth or Aishwaryam and all. That's why Bhagyam, the word Bhagyam comes from Bhagavan. But even Bhagyam in this sense, in this particular case, the wealth is sixfold wealth, it seems. Bhagavan is the one who is having sixfold qualities or characteristics. This is said in the Vishnu Purana. So there it says, Aishwaryasya samagrasya Viryasya yasashasyaha Jnana vairagyayoschaiva Shannam bhaga itirana. Like that there is a shloka is there. So Aishwarya, all samagrasya Aishwaryasya means, samagrasya means complete, total, all. That samagra word should go along with all other words here as an adjective. So all Aishwarya is there with whom. Now Aishwarya means what? Aishwarya means overlordship. You are the boss. So you are the Lord. No, you don't have any other boss, but everybody else is under you. That person is having Ishwaratvam or Aishwarya. So Bhagavan is the one who has manifested as all these laws, I told, correct? But he is not subjected to anybody else's laws. We are all subjected to Bhagavan's order and laws, but Bhagavan himself is free from all that, or transcends all these things. That's why he is Sarva Aishwarya. Like I said, we also have some Aishwarya towards an ant and all that. The same qualities we also have. You have to appreciate that. Bhagavan has it in totality, but we are having it in limited way. So limited way we are also having Aishwarya. Similarly, Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Vidya means power. So Bhagavan is having all power. We also have some power. At least I can lift this mouse, okay? If not anything else. So power also we have, Vidya. Then Yashas means fame. I also have some fame, some 10 people know about me, at least my family knows me, my friends know me. I am popular among some circle. But all Yashas, all glories are really Bhagavan's only, because in fact in Bhagavad Gita there is one chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, where Bhagavan says that wherever you see anything glorious, it is really a manifestation of me only. So all glories are really Bhagavan's glory, because he is the giver, right? We are all like only tourists. As soon as you are born, air is there with the right amount of oxygen, right? Even if oxygen is few percentage more, I don't know, world you cannot live. Everything will burn, I think. Or if it is very less also, you cannot breathe properly. So, right from oxygen, water, all the plants, all the food, everything is given to you. Only thing is you don't even recognize the giver. That is the sad part, right? You have to recognize the giver because everything is given. And Bhagavan is the one who has given all these things. And all the glories here are really Bhagavan's glory. And Shri also. Bhagavan has all resources. He may be constrained in terms of resources. But Bhagavan has no constraints there also. All the Shri is, he has Mahalakshmi only. He is Shri Nivasa. Shri is the one who is residing in him. So Bhagavan has no problem with any resources. Then Jnana and Vairagya also. Bhagavan has all knowledge, we say. This all knowledge of Bhagavan is again explained in another verse of Vishnu Purana, where it says that Bhagavan means Sarvajnaha, means we can't even imagine that. But it says that the one who knows about every being, their birth, their death, their life, whatever they know, whatever they don't know, everything Bhagavan knows. That is the kind of Sarvajnatva. All knowing means really in detail, knowing everything. And then Vairagya is the last thing. Means Bhagavan does not require anything else to be happy. Correct? We all need this. If this is there, I will be happy. If this is not there, I will be happy. Or if this is there, I cannot be happy. If this is not there, only I will be happy. All these problems we have. Bhagavan does not have any problem like that. So, Bhagavan is the one who has all these 6 qualities. That's what we have to understand. And we also have all these qualities. But we have to develop, correct? We have it in limited manner, same qualities like Bhagavan. But we have to develop these qualities. And that is how we bring again Bhagavan into our life, because we also have the same qualities as Bhagavan and we have to develop those qualities. And for all these things, we have to lead a life according to Dharma to start with. And we should have a certain gratitude towards what is given to us. Because whatever is given, we know what is given, right? Everything is given to us. If you recognize the given, means there are givers also, right? And that giver, you should have gratitude towards the giver. And that should reflect in your everyday life also. That's why we say, you should have gratitude towards 5 things we say. Pancha Maha Yajna. We have to do. If you are a Hindu, you have to do 5 things every day. What are those? Deva Yajna, we say. So you have gratitude towards all the Devas. Devas are the ones, they are all aspects of the same Bhagavan, but with reference to a particular phenomena. The Deva, we say, eyesight is a phenomenon, correct? Eyesight is there in my eye. Eyesight is there in your eye. It is there in an eagle's eye also, but in a different manner. Eyesight is there in an insect also. Eyesight is there in some other beings. Wherever there is eyesight, that is a phenomenon, right? In totality, if you see that as an eyesight, that is also a manifestation of Bhagavan. But then we call it as the Aditya Devata. Aditya Devata is the one, wherever eyesight is there, Aditya Devata is manifest. So we have, wherever speech is there, Agni Devata is speech, sound, the ability to make sound itself is a phenomenon, correct? It is there in so many beings. That totality of manifestation of sound itself is due to Agni Devata, we say. So Devatas only are keeping the world as it is. So first we have to do gratitude towards them. Then Pitris, our own ancestors. If the ancestors are not there, I am not there today, right? I am there because of them. So we have gratitude towards them. Then we have gratitude towards our rishis. Without them, we don't have any Vedic knowledge. The Veda was revealed to the rishis. They have passed it down to us. And similarly, we also have to have gratitude towards fellow human beings. Without them, again, there is no life. We are not alone. We are living together, and we cannot be happy alone also, right? We can be happy only when others are also happy around us. But we have to have gratitude towards them. Finally, all animals also. Bhuta Yajna also. So, Manusha Yajna, Bhuta Yajna. And these things, how we do every day, means that again you can decide. There are different paramparas are there. In North India, they do it in one manner. In South, they do it within, there is a Kula Dharma and all is there. Between different Kulas, they do all these things differently. But you have to do these things. By doing this, you are actually bringing Bhagavan into your own life and you are appreciating. In fact, by doing your own karma only, you do Archana to Bhagavan. That's what he says in the Gita also. So, Karmana Tamapyarcha Siddhim Vindati. So, how do you gain success in life? By doing your own duty towards all these things, in spite of your likes and dislikes, correct? So you are free enough to do your duties. Whatever is to be done, you do that. And that is the way we do Archana to Bhagavan, and that is how you gain success also. That is success in life is not doing as you like I said. Success in life means you do according to the order which is there. You go along with the order. And you do whatever is to be done in a situation, you do that in spite of your own likes and dislikes, you keep it aside. So if you are able to manage your likes and dislikes and do the right thing, then you are a successful person. Okay? So I think with this we have gone ahead of time, I think a little bit, but I hope it's okay.
Thank you, Puji Guruji, Jaishankar Narayan. Thanks to Srikant for bringing this lead to the Hindu temple. You would have done much better, but still, there is always a space, and next time we'll definitely do. That's a promise. And we would request Prasanna to felicitate our Guruji. Morning, I was learning a fact from him. We are having a discussion and he just said, what is adulthood? And generally, it's a very practical thing, but until we heard from him, I didn't realize. He said, kids are always consumers. Kids consume from parents or from school or from gurus. So the adulthood really starts once your contribution is more than what you consume. So it just fed into my mind, and that's very true, right? Once the adulthood starts, that's when we give back to community, give back to parents, give back to kids, give back to friends. So that's when we start giving. And that giving makes the entire change in the society. So that's all I thank you for being so vocal and recognize the giver. In his speech, that's another thing, recognize the giver. Generally we take it granted. Father, he gives property. Father, he gives love. Kids, we anticipate, right? Tomorrow a kid is not calling me after going to school or college. Why is she not calling me every day? That's an anticipation. But being given is always the generous thing, and definitely we will practice what you preach. And we are a part of St. Louis community. And whoever wants to, please do go to his website and see if we can really be instrumental in contributing towards his the goal of building the temple for again giving. So that's all I can say. We'll definitely be a part of it. Listen, on behalf of temple,